It's a new year and the start of a new FA Cup campaign as Chelsea welcome Preston North End to the Bridge for our opening game of the calendar year. Before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. We officially hit 7,000, look, 7,002 subscribers on this channel. The next goal for sure this year, hopefully sooner rather than later, is of course 10,000 subscribers. So please do hit the like button, subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content this year. And with that said, for the first time this year, I nearly forgot, but ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Punch O'Clock! Chelsea are back, the FA Cup is back, and Preston are back at the Bridge for the first time since a 1-1 draw back in 1961. The two teams have played since against one another, however, back in 2010 in the FA Cup, Chelsea winning by 2-0. Goals from none other than Nicholas Anelka and a very young Daniel Sturridge won it for the Chelsea back nearly 14 years ago now. Since then, it's been a mixture of Championship and League One for the Lily Whites, or the Invincibles, but I think that's one of their nicknames, who are currently sat 14th place in the second division of English football. Head-to-head, Preston have the majority of the wins with 23 wins in 55 metres. I'm not laughing because I know the history. Of course, Preston were a good team back in the day. But oh, how times have changed. Chelsea with 18 wins and 14 draws in all of the other games between the two sides. For the away side, Preston, once again, have lost 7 of their last 10 games in all competitions. In the FA Cup, it doesn't look great either. 8 losses in the last 10, with wins against Huddersfield last season before being knocked out against Tottenham. And Wycombe Wanderers back in 2018, of course, was the year that we last won it. For Chelsea, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's been a bit of a whirlwind for Chelsea in the FA Cup over the last few years. But since 2016, we've had quite the opposite, with 5 wins, though, in all competitions in our last 10. But in the FA Cup, as I go back to, Jesus, it's outrageous. 31 wins in our last 40 matches in the FA Cup. It has to be the strongest record in the last, God knows how long. In that period, since 2016, it has to be the best record of any team in England or Wales. In that period, 31 wins in our last 40 matches, and 3 of those losses have been in the FA Cup final. We've been in 3 of the last 4 FA Cup finals. We've lost all of them, and again, I've got here, the less said about that, the better. However, team-wise, I would have guessed, and as would you, that resting players and giving younger talent a run around would, of course, be the order of the day, but Pochettino is cooking something else. During his press conference, he gave off the complete opposite impression to a degree. He has said that there will be minimal changes, which against Preston, 14th placed Preston, who just can't seem to buy a win in the FA Cup these days. He's going with our strong side, with a couple of changes, of course. He did confirm that Christopher Nkunku would not start due to issues earlier this week, and that the likes of Alfie Gilchrist will feature alongside those such as Mudryk and so on. For me, this is how I see it being. Petrovic in goal, because it wouldn't make sense. He's already our second goalkeeper. It wouldn't make sense to rest him for, say, like a third or fourth goalkeeper, either Bettinelli or Bergstrom, I think, is the other one. It wouldn't make sense. And he's in such good form at the moment. It would be completely nonsensical to field anyone else other than perhaps even Sanchez coming back. Who knows? I don't think he was mentioned in this press conference, so it remains to be seen. Back four will remain somewhat the same. However, I see it being Gusto on the right. GILCHRIST, of course, has been rumoured to have been starting. I don't know if he actually confirmed that he would start, but it is believed to be that GILCHRIST will start. And Badiashile, for me, I think this is the kind of game that you slot him back in. He's had a bit of a stinker as of late for Chelsea, but a game against Preston might be what is needed in order to get his confidence back up, because he's had, like I say, an absolute stinker of a few performances in recent history. But again, perhaps we're going to see either Colwill or Disasi over Benoit Badiashile. But Maatsen, finally, Ian Maatsen, even with his links to Borussia Dortmund over the last week or so, he has to start at left back against Preston. It's just the way it's got to be. It has to be. I don't want Colwill at left back anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. We bring Maatsen on as a left back substitute anyway. Just start him. Just start him. For the love of God, move Colwill over. Don't play Badiashile for all I care. Just put Colwill in the middle. And Maatsen on the left, GILCHRIST in the middle, right, Gusto on the right. It's so easy. It's so easy. Just give it a go. See what happens. For the love of Christ. I just want a left back at left back and Colwill at centre back where he fucking belongs. Please. I'm getting so sick of it. Thiago Silva gets some rest as well. Extra rest on top of his rest, over the Christmas period, whatever. You know what I mean? Since the last game. There's no doubt about it. I don't think Thiago Silva's going to get any minutes whatsoever. I don't think he's even going to travel, to be completely honest with you, to the bridge. But still. CM, centre mid, I see more so because of injuries and lack of those players being available. The likes of Ugachukwu, Chukwemeka, I think. I can't say I'm too up to date with what's going on. His name's been thrown about. It's either one thing, he's either injured still or he could be playing. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But for me, I think, again, he's given off the impression that it's going to be quite a strong team. So Caicedo and Gallagher again in the middle, with up top being Palmer at the 10, Madueke and Mudryk, who was also mentioned in the press conference, on the wings. Madueke and Mudryk. Sterling, I don't think starts at all. When he was asked about Sterling, he got a little bit aggy. It's got to be said. I don't think he was in the mood to talk about Sterling. Again, he'll probably start him now that's been said. But from the impression I got, he didn't sound too happy about Sterling. Not angry at him, but like the likes of, I don't know. If you watch the press conference, you'll know what I'm saying. But there was something a little bit off with regards to that. Breuer, obviously, as well, a topic of conversation with Jackson away for the AFCON. And so Breuer is getting another chance to showcase his stuff. And I'll be honest with you, if you can't score against Preston, I don't know. I really don't know. Anyone that's watched me long enough knows I love Breuer. I love him. Absolutely love him. I was saying maybe last season before his injury that he has all the makings. Probably still does, but he has all the makings, all the capabilities, all the characteristics of a player who can make it. If anyone could make it as a Chelsea striker from the start to the finish, from an academy player and so on, it's Armando Breuer. But the injuries had a bit of a dent on his career at Chelsea, especially since he's come back and since he's been more of a regular feature. It's not really doing much, let's be honest. But it is a big game. This is a big game for Chelsea. It's a big game for Breuer. It's a big game for Alfie Gilchrist. It's a big game for the whole squad because, again, there is a lot of pressure on this. Predictions-wise, I mean, come on. It has to be. All of you fuckers saying, like, don't look happy in a thumbnail. Don't get cocky in the title. Don't get anything. Don't get too overly confident that Chelsea should win a game, because every time it happens, we end up losing. Well, I'm here to tell you now, it has to be a battering. There's no question about it. They are toss in the FA Cup. And I know the FA Cup is the FA Cup, and the FA Cup will do what the FA Cup does, and that is giant killers. This, that, everything else, anyone can beat anyone. I'm not having it. especially if we're fielding a strong squad. It can't be the case. Our history in the Cup since 2016 is ridiculous and probably the best in England, all things considered, even with our terrible final history. Whilst our opening game in the Carabao Cup may have raised concerns, a few concerns here and there, especially going 1-0 down against Wimbledon, I think recently we've shown a little bit more cohesion, a little stronger mentality, even with our game against Luton being a little bit dicey before the new year. I'm predicting, but also hoping for a 3-0 victory. But honestly, I think it could be more. And honestly, with the likes of GILCHRIST, who is going to be absolutely on it if he gets a start, and Petrovic in fantastic form as well. I doubt we'll concede, but it's Chelsea, so let's see. Or rather, let's be real, we'll probably concede first now that I've mentioned all that. But there we have it. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. This is the first preview of many in 2024. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. My name is Harry, up the Chelsea. Happy New Year and peace.